Let's talk about the NKBA graphic standards for a construction plan. Right. A construction plan is a drawing showing the changes of construction. This will be kind of the only place in your set where you see what was existing and is now being changed. So you can kind of think of it as the existing demo plan plus new walls, doors, and windows. So what do we show on this plan? We show anything that's existing to remain. We show anything that is existing to be removed or demolished, and we show new construction. Notice we're not showing any cabinets, countertops, fixtures, appliances, furniture. All right, we are just showing walls, doors, and windows in this set. The construction plan sheet also has a construction legend, and this typically shows and describes all of the different wall types and those symbols used on the plan. Here are the typical NKBA standards, and I am expecting you to use these specific standards. Your existing wall to remain is typically drawn as a simple wall outline. Right? Your existing wall to be removed, this is demolished, right, is a dashed line type. For new construction, we've got a couple of different symbols for the various wall types. And so we've got an existing opening to be closed. This is an unusual one that you won't see in AIA graphic standards and KBA only, right? It's got these set of parallel lines, and you can see that right here where there was a window, but now we're doing some infill. Right? The new wall to be added, and there's only a tiny one right here in this example, shows the wall studs. All right, so graphically we're showing wall studs in this new type. Right? There is a new opening to be added. This is again specific to NKBA standards. It's got kind of a diamond shape pattern, and this is when you have an existing wall but you're cutting a new window. All right. There's also a symbol here for blocking for wall cabinets or for anything else, and it is kind of a rectangle the length of whatever it is that you need, and it's got an X in it. All right. So you will give more detail about some of these pieces. For example, new wall to be added. You might have several different wall types in your project. Maybe you've got an acoustic wall. Maybe you've got a wall with extended furring for that you need for plumbing, excuse me. Maybe you've got a 2x4 wall, a 2x6 wall. There could be multiple wall types. They would be listed and described here. You could also provide construction details that would be on a separate sheet but would be tagged here. All right, none of that is shown on this example. All right, that would be an extra level of information for your drawing. Doors and windows. These are all shown on the construction plan. We're going to show existing doors and windows with a solid line type. All right. We're going to show existing to be removed or demolished doors or windows with a dashed line type. If you're going to fill an existing opening, I've already showed you that specific hatch pattern. And then for new construction, new doors or windows, this is the place in the NKBA set where you select and specify any new doors and windows. It's not shown in this set. It would be listed down here. You could write the specification directly on the plan, or more typically, you would provide a legend or a door or window schedule. All right, this is where you are going to specify those doors or windows. Let's talk about dimensions specifically for the construction plan. Every wall is going to have 3 lines of dimensions. That should be familiar to you from the floor plan, but they are slightly different. All right. Your first dimension line is the one closest to the wall, and it indicates usable wall space. You're going to dimension from the interior wall face to any casings or openings, all right, and any change in wall surface. So that should be very familiar to you from the floor plan. The second one is different. Here is our second dimension line. And it's going to indicate the center points of all doors and windows. If you are familiar with AIA graphic standards, which I'm assuming you are, AIA measures to the center line of doors and windows. This right here on the construction plan is where NKBA gives that same type of measurement. The difference is we're measuring from the interior wall face. So the example set of small kitchen has some errors in this area. All right. It is not showing the door and window specifications, so I've given you an example of what that could look like. It doesn't show the new window for some reason, and it 100% should. This is an error in the set, so I've drawn that in for you. All right. And it's also not showing that center line dimension to the doors and windows, which it absolutely should, according to the NKBA graphic standards. So I've added that information for you. All right. I forgot to also mention there is a third dimension line. This is the overall dimension of the wall. All right, everyone. In this video, we just took a look at the NKBA graphic standards for the construction plan. Thanks.